Is
Hey,
that my pal,
what's
Pharmacist
going
Ben?
on? Seems like I haven't talked to you for a while. Oh, I was
Yeah,
there. Oh, Friday. Friday. That's right.
you were out of
That's
town or something.
right. That's right. What'd you
What'd you
do?
do Friday?
What'd you do
Fill us
without me?
in.
Nah, it's personal. What'd you do without me?
You did. Oh,
I can't,
we had
can't tell
Keely
you all
on
my
the show.
personal stuff. What's that?
We had Keely on the show.
Keely's a therapist of some kind, a body therapist or something.
No, Keely. She works a lot as a health coach with end of life people,
Uh,
and is really going hard on getting doctors involved and starting to utilize nutrition for their patients, etc.
I didn't know
So,
that about Keely. I do hospice stuff, Keely. I volunteer for hospice.
oh, do
I
you
didn't realize
really?
Keely did that. Yeah, I have
You're
a
a
couple
good guy,
patients.
man. I didn't know.
You didn't know that
Who
either?
knew? No, I
Who
knew you were a
knew?
good guy, but I didn't know you were that good of a
I'm pretty damn good. And
guy.
speaking of being pretty damn good, I'm doing an event for people who live in Colorado or in the Denver area or anywhere in Colorado, really, at my lab, 11:30 on Saturday for longevity. We're going to talk about product and the business as well. Tom will be there. A few other people will be there. And then we're doing another event May 20th.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry,
And
May 20, hang on, May 23rd, I think it is. Whatever that Saturday is.
so this is going to be Saturday the 25th. You're
Hang
going
on
to
a
be
second.
doing.
Hang on a second. I got to do something.
Go ahead. Let's mute Pharmacist Ben here as he takes care of his personal business. And I just want to say hello to everybody out there who's watching us. And let me just fix this thing real
Okay.
quick.
So let's, you want to talk about that article?
I do want to talk about that article. I also want to mention real quick that I'm not Becca Dukes, but I want to mention real quick that we had an event yesterday that we did in Pennsylvania that was pretty doggone good. And a lot of like minded people who are all looking for solutions to get to better health. And, it's interesting to hear some of the things people say. There's people still talking about drink olive oil and,
Who
you know,
says that? Who tells you to drink olive oil?
that's the impression that these are health conscious people for the most part
Yeah,
who are
there's this idea that olive oil is somehow a health food, which if it was fresh from the olives, it might be.
there you go, and that is the distinction that I make to the folks.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, if you want more information on the event that Pharmacist Ben is going to have, just make sure you email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com. If you live in a Colorado area, if you live in a Colorado area, he'd love to see you because Ben is the host with the most. And for more information, email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com. Thank you, Becca, for that. And welcome everybody on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook. Thanks. It's good to see you. So yes, Pharmacist Ben, our title of our show today is New Shocking Evidence. Could doctors accidentally spread Alzheimer's? And
No,
with that,
misdirection.
well, I mean, that's what the article kind of indicated, but you're going to go into more detail and more. And we do have some questions, and we have a guest that's got a question that has joined us.
Who's the
So
guest? What do you mean a guest?
we
Explain.
have
Elaborate.
we have someone with a question who's going to come on air and ask it to you.
But what do you mean by guest? They're a listener. Are they a
They're a
special guest?
listener. They're not.
Okay. Why don't you put them on?
Well, after we talk about our title, if you don't mind.
All right. Go ahead. Tell a little bit about the article, and I'll tell you what I think about it. You want to do it that way?
Okay. So what I gained from this article was, I guess, back in the '80s when they wanted children to grow, they would give HGH derived from cadavers.
Right.
And apparently, these cadavers had what they called amyloids, and they're thinking that the amyloids from the cadavers transferred to the brains of the children that got the HGH. So as they got older, these kids wound up with Alzheimer's based on the transference of this cadaver-derived human growth hormone.
You're knuckleheads.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason this I think is important is because what it does is it absolves people of their own power. Oh, I have Alzheimer's because I got injected when I was a child. All of a sudden you don't have any responsibility. And by responsibility, I mean power. When we hear the word responsibility, I don't want anybody to think, oh, blame, right? When you say somebody has responsibility, there's a kind of connotation of blame. It's your fault. That's not what I'm talking about. Responsibility means power to me. When you have responsibility, you have power. You can change it. And it's perspectives like this that say you're the result of something that happened to you many years ago that takes your power away from you. Yeah, it takes responsibility away. Now it's not your fault anymore, but it also takes your ability to change your life away. Now I'm just doomed. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole genetic thing. I'm doomed. There's no recourse. And I don't like that. That's disempowering. And I've said this before, but it really bears repeating. We're not in the health business. We're in the power business. We're in the empowerment business. We happen to use health as our metaphor or our vehicle. We're approaching power from the perspective of health, but really we're about empowerment. And that's why I'm always telling you how the mechanism works. That's why I always say I don't want to be your authority. I want everybody to be their own authority. And this idea that it's injections from growth hormone, first of all, there's no proof that any of that worked. This is just a hypothesis. But second of all, Alzheimer's is MBFA of the brain. It's arthritis of the brain. It's glaucoma of the brain. It's a chronic degenerative disease of the brain. Amyloid is a patching up mechanism, and amyloidosis happens in various parts of the body, not just the brain. So this idea that Alzheimer's is related to growth hormone injections that had amyloid in it, why wouldn't you get amyloidosis of the kidney when you had the growth hormone injected into you? Or why wouldn't you have amyloidosis of the heart or amyloidosis of anything else? The fact is that amyloid is a molecule that's formed out of transerythrotin. Remember transerythrotin, another molecule, as a damage control molecule, patching up agent. And we find that this is a common mechanism that the body uses. Connective tissue and proteins and various substances are used as Band-Aids. When the brain suffers from degeneration or deterioration, secondary to the same stuff that causes other tissue to deteriorate, sugar, toxins, hypoxia, etc., you get deterioration of the brain. And then amyloid comes to the rescue, and amyloid gets blamed. These amyloid plaques get blamed, and now you have vaccines against amyloid, and now they're talking about this was because you got injected many years ago. I find that offensive, first of all, because it takes away, it disempowers us, and second of all, it leaves us vulnerable to just medical intervention. It forces us to just be dealing with medical intervention because, of course, now there's nothing you can do about it. There's no accident, by the way, that there's no treatments for Alzheimer's. There's no treatments. There's no medical treatments for Alzheimer's disease. There are some drugs that kind of sort of work with neurotransmitters a little bit, but they're not going to stop Alzheimer's. They're not going to slow down a little bit, but they're not going to really have a dramatic impact on Alzheimer's disease. It's very difficult to treat a degenerative condition. You can't take a drug that is going to regenerate tissue, neural tissue in the case of the brain. And that's what we should be looking at. How do we reverse the degenerative process? And you reverse the degenerative process by driving in nutrients, eliminating toxicity, and supporting blood circulation. Same stuff, whether it's the brain or the joints or the eyes or any other part of the body. That's the whole theme of our message, AJ. By our, I mean longevities, yours and mine, and Becca and Rosella and all Healy and all the other people who are on the calls that we do, is that we can do this ourselves. That we have the power to reverse degenerative disease. Cancer is a little tricky because there's kind of like a genetic switch that gets turned on. But other than that, degenerative disease is reversible, not curable. That's magic. We're not talking about magic. We're talking about science here. Cures are like, abracadabra, mumbo jumbo. You're cured. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about turning the degenerative process into regeneration by driving in nutrients, supporting oxygenation, eliminating toxicity, and then improving blood circulation, which is really what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as nutrients go, we might as well say healthy brain and heart pack, and also synaptive.
Mm-hmm. When I was so when I was reading that article, I was saying to myself, well, if they were giving us to kids, I think it was the 60s to the 80s to 85, I think. Well, I was thinking to myself, well, maybe it didn't mention soft drinks that the kids were drinking, possibly, or maybe
Cytotoxins,
trips to McDonald's, or it was
NutraSweet, grain, gluten intolerance to the brain, grain brain, as they say. There's a lot of things. There's a glymphatic system in the skin. In the brain. The glymphatic system, not the lymphatic system, but the glymphatic system is the lymph of the brain, and it drains out toxins. And it drains out toxins when you sleep. And so sleep is also important. And we know we have a big problem with people with an insomnia epidemic. People can't fall asleep. So that plays a role as well, is glymphatic toxicity. Also, cortisol plays a role. Cortisol, stress hormone. That's going to have an effect on neural degeneration. So there's a lot of places that you can work here. Most important is the triangle. Always return to the triangle. If you want to simplify it, just work on the digestive system. In that order: digestion and blood sugar, and then cortisol.
Pharmacist Ben, have you ever tried the longevity sleep gummies?
Love the sleep gummies.
You like these things?
Love them. Not like them, love them.
Do you really? Why? Because
they're amazing. They're powerful. Oh my God! You do 3. If you do 3 sleep gummies, if you have a problem sleeping, do 3 sleep gummies. Watch what happens. I can't do 3. I can only do 1, sometimes 2. But I don't have that. I don't really have a problem sleeping. But if you have a problem sleeping, 3 will knock you the hell out, man.
And you wake up fresh.
Wake up fresh, not groggy.
Okay.
Yeah, the sleep gummies are really, really effective.
Someone was asking me about the sleep gummies.
Super effective. And they're not even that. Yep, that's the one.
I just got for the first time the other day. Yesterday, Cheryl and Becca gave me this bottle, and I was talking to someone today who was making an order, and she was talking about her use of sleep gummies, etc. And I had mentioned that I've never used a sleep aid since the 90s, because when I knew nothing about nutrition, I would take Tylenol PM, and I could not function the next day.
Like Tylenol PM, that's a sleeping pill.
I would sleep through my alarm.
Like
half asleep at work.
That's a sleeping pill. That's a little different.
Nothing like the sleep gummies are not like that.
No. It's melatonin basically, but there's also, I think, GABA's in there, and some herbs are in there too. Maybe some theanine. Is that right? What else is in there?
Yeah, magnesium.
Magnesium's in there. GABA, magnesium, theanine, tryptophan. Yeah, these are all just natural. Yeah, there's no drugs in there.
All right. Well, because maybe I'll give it a try one day if I have trouble sleeping or something.
You never took them?
No.
Why not?
I told you, not since the 90s when I had those couple bad experiences with LPM.
With what? Oh, no, you never took the sleep gummies I'm talking about.
I have never taken anything for sleep since the 90s, because I just, and Becca's saying AJ doesn't have trouble falling asleep.
Okay, all right.
Because I was sleeping in her car yesterday.
On the way home. On the way home, well, you deserve it. There's that article I sent you about the iatrogenic connection to Alzheimer's disease. There's a whole list of articles that are kind of interesting in that. I don't know if you got a chance to read it. That article I sent you. There's also there's another article about pollution and poverty may be related to brain aging. There's another one on in that same thread. There's another one. I'm looking through the thread now. I can't find them. There was another one, I think, on on nutritional supplementation, but I can't find that, so I'll have to pull that one out.
Yeah, I mean,
But
but see, if they say poverty is related to,
degeneration is,
I mean, could you then say maybe it's the food choices because of poverty? I mean,
of course
like,
you can.
where are they going?
Where are they going? It's not just the fact that you're poor.
Mhm.
I hope they're not saying that. I don't think they're saying that. But yeah, it could be nutrition, I'm sure, or lifestyle. Maybe poor people are more prone towards smoking or towards drinking. I don't know if that's true, but I suppose that's a possibility.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, what do you have anything else? Anything? Oh, and there's that same thread has an article on the exercise and a part of the brain called the hippocampus.
Mhm.
It talks about the hippocampus is part of the brain that's responsible for new memories, and as we age, it shrinks. It turns out that exercise increases the connection between the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain where you make good decisions, as well as the part of the brain where emotional control and attention and goal setting are involved, and planning are involved. So exercise is another strategy. And again, these are the kinds of things that we really want to focus on. If you think, oh, I was injected with growth hormone 50 years ago, and that's why I have dementia now, you lose your power. But if you see that exercise is important, exercise plays a big role, as well as nutrition. Now you have some control, and that's really what you want to look at: is where do I have control? Where do I have power? Locus of control. Where can I do something about my condition? And that's really it. And you know, it never ceases to amaze me how people sometimes don't want to do anything about their condition. You know, it's too much work. There's ulterior motives. There's, you know, they're too busy. There's reasons. People have reasons. You know, you want to be unreasonable to a certain extent. Everybody has reasons for things. Try being unreasonable. Oh, the reason is this, that, and the other. Well, try not having any reasons. Just throwing those reasons out. Be unreasonable, as they say. That's the Italian landmark.
It's interesting. I hear you. It's interesting to me that some people are lower capacity, and then there are people like you who are high capacity. You're juggling 4 or 5 different things, doing volunteer work on a daily basis, and like, you know, it's just like, uh, you know, when I remember when I was younger, I would hear people say, "Oh, you know, you got plenty of time. You got 24 hours in a day. You can fit tons of things in there." You know, and then there are people who I have no time because I gotta, you know, it's just like, you know,
If I
it's
told you I would give you, if you said to me, I have no time, and I said, I'll give you $10 million if you carve out 10 minutes of time or 15 minutes of time for whatever, you'd find the time. If there's value, if you perceive there's value, you'll find the time. It's just that you don't perceive value. And that's true about business, by the way. People will pay any price if the value's enough, right? If I tell you, I'm going to give you this Lamborghini and you're a car lover and I'm going to charge you $100 for it, you'll say I'll find $100. But if I say to you, I got a supplement, a healthy start pack kit, and it's $100, you know, you're going to be like, hem and haw. In other words, you don't have the same. You haven't given it you haven't made the object of your sale or the object of your spending valuable enough. It doesn't have enough value for you. The object of a person who's selling longevity or selling any kind of health product is to present the value. And if they say no, you haven't presented the value. You haven't made it valuable enough. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
We got to show how valuable it is to be on a nutritional supplement program. A, to use the longevity supplements. B, to participate in the longevity program as a business builder, as a distributor. C, we have to show the value. That's the only job in business, is show the value. So what's the value of beyond Tangy Tangerine? More energy, less likely to get shingles or viruses or get colds when they're flowing around, better mobility, reduction in risks of chronic degenerative diseases and cancer, improved sleep, improved imagination, creativity, improved fertility, improved sex, improved bodybuilding. It was all kinds. You got to present the benefits. You got to present the value. Somebody says no, you haven't presented. You haven't made it valuable enough.
Okay. Speaking of value, is the Lamborghini your favorite car?
No, I don't. I'm not a car person.
You're not a car person.
I always drive Audis though.
You like
Yeah. But I'm not. No, I don't know anything about cars.
So we're gonna bring on my friends Ellen and Alan George, and they have some questions.
Who are
that they-
Ellen and Al? Set the table for us, please.
Okay, well, Alan is dealing with some degenerative diseases,
Okay.
and Ella has been faithfully attempting to help him through going to different doctor's appointments to remove fluid in the lungs, or excuse me, fluid in the cavities, and
Okay, Alan and Ella. So first of all, Alan and Ella, fluid accumulation means that the liquid part of the body is not circulating appropriately. That's the blood and the lymph. So when that probably has something to do with the heart. But once the blood doesn't move correctly, it leaks. That's why it's important. Circulation is so important. Now, you may have heard us say, or Helen, hi there, Ellen and Alan. Is that right?
so
Or
that's
Ella and Alan. Okay. So
Can you
Ella,
hear us? Say you can hear us.
can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, guys. So have they heard us before? Have Ella and Alan heard us before?
I've heard AJ.
I've
Okay.
heard
Okay, this is
They
Ben
know who you are. They told me
years
who you
ago.
are before they knew who I was.
years ago. Okay, good.
Years ago when you was in your
They brought
30s.
Dr. Wallach
Okay,
to their
wait,
town.
wait a minute. When I was in my 30s, are you serious? 30
Yes.
years ago? Oh my
And you
God.
talked to me. Yes, you talked to me. It's been years ago.
Well, I can't see you. I only see half your head there. Okay, okay. And you're from Texas. Where are
Yes.
you from? You're from Texas, right?
Richmond, Virginia.
Or you're from Virginia? Did you know?
Yes.
Did you know George? That guy George C. What was his name? George CG or I forgot the guy's name. George
No.
was his name. He passed away. Did you come in with FDI?
No, we was
No,
in like 15 years ago.
Okay. All right. Well, let me just tell you the reason I ask is because I don't want to bore you with by repeating myself here, but I will. You haven't heard probably. It's all about the blood, Ella and
Yes.
Alan. It's all about the blood. Leviticus, the life of the flesh is in the blood. It's all about the blood. When the blood
Yes.
doesn't circulate, that's where everything happens. Now I'm looking at Alan, even though I can only see half his head now. I can't see both of you guys. And I could tell Alan's got some blood problems just by looking. Okay.
Oh,
I can tell just by looking. So were you diagnosed with heart disease, hypertension, heart failure, anything
Yes.
cardiovascular? I could tell by looking.
Yeah.
All right. So
How?
because
How can you do that?
I've been doing this for 45 years. That's how. You know, when you see things over and over again, it's to us, our health challenges seem unique, but to guy who sees thousands of them over the, tens of thousands over the last 40 years, they start to look the same. You start to see similarities. So,
Okay.
so it's not uncommon. It's very common. We got to get you stronger. We got to get your heart stronger. We got to get your blood stronger. Okay. So a couple things. First of all, there's two main reasons why the blood system, the cardiovascular system starts to starts to slow down. One is sugar. Two is toxicity that comes in from the digestive system. So you're probably I don't know if you've been diagnosed as such, but even if you haven't been, you probably have some degree of messed up blood sugar. They call it diabetes, but it doesn't have to be called diabetes. Again, I'm not psychic. I'm telling you, this is just how it happens. So you want to get your sugar under control. I would personally get on the healthy blood sugar pack as soon as you can. That's first of all.
Yeah.
If you have any belly issues, and Ella, are you taking care, Alan?
Yes.
Make sure you observe his reactions to foods. And by reactions, I mean fatigue, neurological issues, inflammatory pain, skin issues, bowel, all of those. You want to connect those to foods. And when you notice a relationship between certain foods and brain fog, fatigue, rashes, inflammatory pain, digestive pain, any of those things, you want to eliminate those foods. I would if probably not a bad idea to get on the ultimate enzymes as well. The ultimate enzymes will do double duty for Alan. Number one, the ultimate enzymes with food will help him digest his food. But number two, if he takes the ultimate enzymes on an empty stomach, that'll clean his blood a little bit to keep it moving a little better. Okay. Okay. Now, if you want some quick down and dirty relief, like notice something really quickly, get on YouTube and look up slow, deep, rhythmic breathing. It's very important that you do the breathing correctly, though. If you don't breathe correctly, it's worse. You'll make matters worse. But you want to do slow, deep, rhythmic breathing. So you want to relax everything. When the body is under duress, which Alan's been under duress for a little bit, the blood
Yes.
vessels, the blood vessels will constrict. We want to relax everything. So has he been diagnosed with high blood pressure or hypertension?
Yes.
Okay, so we need to correct all that. That's healthy blood sugar pack, ultimate enzymes on an empty stomach, slow, deep, rhythmic breathing. Stay away from anything that spikes his blood sugar. Bread, pasta, potatoes,
Oh.
pizza, candy, cake, soda pop, fruit juice, anything that spikes his sugar. Do you have a blood
Okay.
sugar? Do you have a blood sugar meter?
Yes.
Take his blood sugar first thing in the morning, and then fill up a glass with 32 ounces of water and some Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and take his blood sugar again a few minutes later, and watch what happens.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have a blood pressure cuff?
Yes.
Okay, so have him take his blood pressure, then have Alan sit in a warm bath for 15 minutes or so.
Okay.
Warm bath, and then take his blood pressure again when he gets out of the tub.
Okay.
You'll notice a significant decrease in his blood pressure. Now, obviously, he can't sit in the bathtub all day, but he can do it once a day.
Okay.
And that'll have an antihypertensive effect. Okay. And
Okay.
then if you want to throw in a couple other things, get him on, add in the Ultimate Selenium and the Osteomag or the plant-derived minerals. Anything with magnesium. Magnesium is going to be important for lowering blood pressure. AJ, Osteomag, what else is a good source of magnesium aside from the Osteomag? Or Rebecca?
Beyond Osteo.
Beyond
Osteomag,
Osteo. Yeah.
CalMag.
Did you get all that in case Ella didn't get it?
Yeah, I'm writing it down.
Okay. Ella, AJ got everything, so you can contact him. And it's nice to see you. And the last thing I would do for my friend Alan, what are you about in your early 70s? How old?
80.
God bless you. You look good. So
Thank you.
Let's get you moving that body around. That's going to help. If you take a brisk walk, and by brisk I mean moving your arms, moving your legs. Can you do that? A brisk walk around the block. Yeah, if you do that once in the morning, once at night, that will help improve the circulation as well, and that'll have a tendency to drop the blood pressure. Okay.
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 What about the meds? What about the meds that he's on? Of course,
can't really do anything about the meds, but you're probably on a beta blocker.
Yes.
I'm sure you're on a beta blocker. That's what they usually do. Are you on are you on what they call an ACE inhibitor, like what do they call them, like tenormin, atenolol, or something like that?
We got the
the
whole gamut.
You're on the whole gamut. There's a protocol they give you, and that's going to have a tendency to slow down everything, including the heart. So I can't tell you to get off your meds, but I can tell you that once you start these supplements and start moving your body and start using the bath and the breathing and all the things we talked about, you are going to be able to wean yourself off your meds with your doctor. Especially getting the blood sugar under control. Yeah.
They had the device on them for infracture, the
pacemaker,
infusion.
Yeah, infusion. What are they infusing?
With a heart, got a what you call it?
Metronome.
It's a metronome infusion, and it has a PICC line.
I don't know what a metronome infusion. You mean metoprolol?
Yes.
No, it's called metronome, and it's an infusion, and it goes into the PICC line that's hooked to your heart.
It goes into the heart. They're trying to take the burden off the heart.
Okay.
Trying to do. Did you have a heart attack?
No.
Stroke?
They don't know what it was. He passed out years ago.
It could have been a stroke. They're trying to take the load off the heart. The problem is when you take the load off the heart, then the heart's what drives your body. You don't have energy. You can't move around. So as the benefits of the nutritional supplement program kick in and everything else we talked about, hopefully your doctor will be able to wean yourself off the meds. I'm not going to tell you to get off the meds, but your object is to wean yourself off with your doctor.
Yes.
Okay. And listen, the meds are going to make your drugs work better. The meds, the nutritional supplement will make your drugs work better, I should say. The nutrients will make your drugs work better. So you won't need as many of the drugs. The nutrients will improve your prognosis on the medication. And that's important. That's important for anybody on meds to understand. Nutrients will potentize will increase the benefits of the medication. It will make the drugs work more efficiently. So you won't need as much meds.
Okay.
And that's really the goal. Okay.
So would he be able to? He has a walker, and it's slow.
He can't walk without the walker.
Not really. He can.
Okay, fine. Then walk with the walker. That's fine. Walk with the walker.
Okay.
What he's looking to do is challenge his body a little bit. Not a lot.
Yes.
Not a lot, but he wants to challenge his body a little bit. You got to be careful.
Okay.
You don't want to over challenge it, but a little bit of challenge tells the body to grow. Without challenge, the body doesn't have any need to grow. And so it just shuts down. You want to push it a little bit in conjunction with the nutrients. And the less calories he eats, as long as he's nutriated, the less calories he eats, the better off he's going to be. Alan.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, number one.
Yes, sir.
When you first seen me,
yes, sir.
Tell me, what did you see?
It's energy.
Okay.
I could see it coming off the screen here. I just because I've seen it so many times. It's not anything special. I've just seen it so many times. It's a standard way that people look when they have cardiovascular issues, when they have circulatory issues.
Alan, he wants you to improve your vitality.
It's a vitality thing, yes.
Okay.
Okay? But you're 80
okay.
also. God bless you.
He's going to do it. He's going to do it.
Yeah, you're not old. You're not old. You got 10 more years before you're old. 10, 15 years before you're old. Okay?
Okay.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Alan.
Alan.
I will talk to you guys tomorrow, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Nice meeting you again.
Nice seeing you again. Bye.
All right,
man.
Folks,
she has a good memory, Ella.
Oh no, she's got an amazing memory. She's the mother at her church. They
oh yeah,
trying to get her entire church on longevity.
Oh, that's awesome. Where is the church? Oh, Virginia.
In Richmond, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have Atlas on Rumble.
Okay.
He's talking about a couple of different things.
Okay.
His wife's Alzheimer's became apparent after she got a jab for shingles, it looks like.
Okay.
And he's wondering the memantine and donepezil or donepezil HCI. He can't read the bottle; it's backwards. He says
if they're going to help him with his Alzheimer's.
I help his wife with her Alzheimer's.
No.
And on med beds.
On what?
The med beds. So they're like the frequency beds, like
med beds. Okay, so the Aricept is a brand name for donepezil. Donepezil is how you say it. Donepezil. Mm-hmm. But it's Aricept is the brand name. What is the other one? What's the other drug? Memantine. Yeah, both of those. That's what I was saying earlier. They don't really help. They support neurotransmitters, brain chemicals. But the problem isn't brain chemicals. The problem is the brain tissue. It's a degenerative condition of brain tissue. The best they could do is throw in improve neurotransmitter synthesis and production, acetylcholine specifically, by suppressing its breakdown. It's just a dumb, desperate strategy, because the medical model doesn't have any tools for dealing with degenerative condition, because there's no drugs. There's no drugs that can support regeneration. That's not how drugs work.
What about a profitable strategy?
Nutrition, oxygen, movement, exercise, relaxation.
No, when you said it was a desperate strategy,
it's a desperate strategy because you don't have to pay for movement. You don't have to pay for oxygen. You don't have to pay for a clean diet. You have to pay a little bit for supplements, but you don't have to pay them. So they get desperate and they just make up these crazy drugs that really have very little benefit. There's very little benefit to Aricept or to memantine for Alzheimer's because it's a degenerative condition. They want you to think that these plaques form for no reason. That's idiotic, that the plaques form for no reason. Nothing happens in the body for no reason. They should be asking, why are the plaques forming, is what they should be asking. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the question, is why are the plaques forming? And of course, we know the answer. If you understand amyloid as a Band-Aid, and you can understand amyloid as a Band-Aid because it happens everywhere in the body where there's degeneration, not just in the brain. Amyloidosis is a very common biochemical phenomenon that's associated with, or biological phenomenon that's associated with degeneration, particularly as we age. Amyloidosis.
Mm-hmm. What about, he had asked about the relationship between his shingles or her shingles shot and her rapid decline.
The shingles shot, when you put anything into the blood, usually it's a leaky gut, but you can do it through injection, the blood responds. People, please understand this. For some reason, the doctors don't understand this. You're putting something in the blood. The blood is the sacred space. The blood has very tight specifications. It's a complex system where you have dozens of different factors that are associated with viscosity and clotting. You've got proteins, you've got gases, you've got pH, you've got fluidity, you've got viscosity, you've got enzymes, you've got fats, you've got lipoproteins. You've got so much action in the blood that everything has to be kept just so, perfectly pristine. You cannot introduce things into the blood, either through a leaky gut or directly through the skin, and not have some kind of, as we say in the business, sequelae. A sequelae is a sequel that comes afterwards, something that comes after. You can't do it without, you have to expect sequelae. So yes, the shingles vaccine probably had an impact on the blood, and an impact on the blood activates the immune system and the inflammatory system, and more than likely, the blood goes to the brain and there's inflammatory factors that get deposited into the brain. Yes, it could very well be. And while, nobody likes shingles, obviously, it's miserable, there's better ways to protect yourself from shingles, specifically by supporting your immune system. Shingles is the sign that the immune system is compromised. That's why people get shingles when they're old, not when they're young. Little kids don't get shingles. Older people get shingles. People who are on chemotherapy get shingles. People who are on multiple medications get shingles. People who are under chronic stress get shingles. And same with cold sores, by the way. Same deal. Although they're not as significant as shingles, it's the same idea. Stressors will suppress the immune system. That's what cortisol does. Cortisol suppresses the immune system. And I told the story before, but when they figured out how to use cortisol medicinally as a drug, called prednisone first, but now there's a whole bunch of them. But first it was prednisone. It was revolutionary because prednisone, i.e. pharmaceutical cortisol, suppresses immunity. So all of a sudden, autoimmune diseases go away. You can't have an autoimmune disease without an immune system. So it looks like it's a miracle. But of course, the problem is you suppressed your immune system. Now you're prone towards other things. So older folks are notorious for having high cortisol, and older folks are notorious for getting shingles. I would be working on cortisol and making sure you got enough nutrients, particularly selenium, as it turns out, but also vitamin C and the healthy blood sugar pack, supporting blood sugar. Everything we talk about. You guys, this is not complicated. The only thing that's complicated is going against the mainstream. That's where it gets to be tricky, because you're going against the mainstream. The mainstream will say Alzheimer's is, amyloid plaques and it's growth hormone that was injected to you 50 years ago. Or it just come up with these crazy ideas, these crazy theories, and that's what we're up against. Or doctors saying nutrition doesn't work, there's no proof of this, that, and the other. The mainstream dogma. You know what the definition of dogma is? Dogma is something that you believe on faith, that you have no proof for. That's what a dogma is. Medicine is dogma. It's medical theory anyway is dogma for the most part. There's not all of it is, but a lot of it is dogma. Genetics, for example, it's called the genetic dogma. The central dogma they call it, I think.
Okay, Bruce has a question, but before we get to that,
yes,
Key, do you want to ask his question yourself, or do you want me to take a stab at it? All right, I'm going to take a stab at it. 39-year-old female, radiated thyroid, hair loss, signs of anemia, issues with ferritin and or absorption. BPTT only has 6% daily value of iron. Also, she wonders why low amounts of vitamin D and iron and BTT.
She has a liver problem. She has, why there's low concentrations of the stuff in BTT?
BTT, yes.
Iron is a very, very tricky mineral. You can't just take iron. It's a very tricky mineral. There's a delicate balance between iron being good and iron being bad. It's tightly controlled. It's very pro-aging, but obviously it's very important. In fact, its very instability that makes it problematic is why it's so important. It allows it to be a control point for oxygen in the blood. So it's a tricky mineral because you need it to be unstable, but the instability is dangerous. So you got to be really careful with supplementing with iron. You can't just take iron. The best iron is going to be heme iron from meat or from meat and fish, from high protein foods. Vegetable iron is not quite as therapeutically valuable, but still good. But meat iron, animal iron, heme iron, they call it, is the best form of iron. The most important consideration with hemochromatosis or low ferritin or any kind of iron issues is the liver. The liver is the control point for iron. And given metabolic syndrome, and given that 120 million Americans have fatty liver, obviously a lot of people are going to have iron problems. You can't supplement it away. Work on liver health. How do you work on liver health? Well, the liver sits right in the juncture between the first point and the second point of the triangle. The liver helps you with the digestive system. It's important. It's a digestive structure, and it's also important for blood sugar. So you work on the liver by digestion and blood sugar. Support the digestive system. The liver also does a lot of detox. It's your detox organ or detox system, if you will. And supporting detox by A, not putting toxins in the body, including sugar, and B, using liver support detox nutrients, especially N-acetylcysteine, also milk thistle and Jerusalem artichoke from an herbal perspective, selenium, glutamine, glutathione. These are all very important for the liver. Glycine is, you're going to start hearing a lot about glycine in the future. Methylating agents. What else? Sulfur, sulfate, fucoidin. All of these for the liver. Treat your condition as a liver condition, first and foremost. Now, she did have her thyroid irradiated. That tells me she very possibly was dealing with hyperthyroidism, not hyper. They call that Graves' disease. So I'm guessing if they irradiated her thyroid, then that's their strategy. You know, I can't even begin to tell you what's going through my head every time I think about it. They kill the thyroid. They radiate the thyroid. They have pills that do it, or they'll just do it with radiation, you know, and they do it because you have hyperthyroidism. Now, hyper means the thyroid is revved up. Hypo is when the thyroid regulates everything. So I know I said it before, bone cells bone, muscle cells muscle, heart cells heart, skin cells skin, immune cells immune, colon cells colon. You get what I'm saying? Cells do what they do under the regulation of thyroid hormone, among other things. Vitamin D is also important via calcium. And I know she said something about vitamin D, but the point is that when the thyroid is slow, your heart is slow, your digestive system is slow, your liver is not detoxifying, your nails don't grow, your hair falls out, everything kind of shuts down. Because the thyroid is think of the thyroid like your foot on the gas pedal. Take the foot off the gas pedal, no collagen is secreted, no cells divide, no gastric juices are made, you know, keratinocytes, skin cells don't become less functional, the immune system is suppressed, you shut down. That's the most significant thyroid problem. A less significant one, but a miserable one, maybe even more miserable than hypo, is hyper. That's where you're jittery and sweaty and your blood pressure goes up and you can't sleep and you have anxiety and, you know, it's really terrible. It's a terrible, your eyes pop out of your head. It's just, can you imagine this? Everything's revved up and it's really miserable. And understandably, you know, when they offer you a remedy like sometimes taking your thyroid out completely or radiating it or giving you a drug to poison it, you know, it's hard to turn that down because all of a sudden your thyroid slows down. But there's a price to be paid, obviously. So I'd want to know what else is going on with this gal. But in the meantime, based on everything you said, focus on liver health with all your digestive supplements, everything we talk about. And I'd want to talk to her a little bit about specifics. I'm sure there's all kinds of digestive issues and the healthy blood sugar pack.
Richard Renton once said that Dr. Wallach said that when someone's dealing with low ferritin, if they use the Cell Shield RTQ, that within a couple of weeks they won't have iron issues.
I can't. That you have to ask Dr. Wallach that. I can't speak to that. So low ferritin is an indicator of iron depletion, but it's difficult to just take iron to make it go away.
Well, the Cell Shield RTQ obviously doesn't have iron.
I think it probably has liver detox stuff in it. I'm sure.
Has resveratrol, quercetin, resveratrol.
Yeah.
And
is it CoQ10? CoQ10 in there
too. RTQ.
I thought it's CoQ10.
RTQ, resveratrol, turmeric, maybe. And
okay, those are all liver. That's all liver support stuff. What else?
And quercetin or Q.
Those are all liver. Low ferritin is associated with chronic liver disease.
All right. Thanks. And Keely, you can follow up with Pharmacist Ben. He'll help your client. And then Bruce, and thank you, Becca. The ingredients are RTQs: turmeric, quercetin, curcuminoids.
Yeah, those are all liver nutrients, and I could see why Doc said that.
Okay, so Bruce, our guy who jumped in my Zoom earlier today, says, why does a person have to use an inhaler? Please explain in an easy, understanding answer.
An inhaler is a steroid. I'm assuming they mean for the lungs, correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah. An inhaler is typically a steroid, but it could also be a nerve block that suppresses the immune response that is associated with bronchoconstriction, which in turn is associated with asthma. When the bronchi constrict in response to either cortisol stress, like exercise-induced asthma, for example, or to toxicity, whether it's toxicity you breathe or toxicity that's coming into the blood through the digestive system, and they can both induce bronchoconstriction. When the bronchi constrict, you can't breathe. Inhalers open that up. Steroids suppress the immune response, and the nerve blockers suppress the nerve response. So they open up the bronchi. That's basically how they work. But the real issue is, why are the bronchi closed? What's triggering the constriction? And that's immunity. And that's cortisol or toxicity in the blood.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Pharmacist Ben, I was watching my favorite channel called Facebook. And this guy was on there, and he was probably at the beginning somewhere close to 400 pounds. And he did a 75-day water fast.
Wow. Just water every day?
Apparently. That's what he said.
That ain't easy to do. That's not easy.
And he was doing push-ups, and he looked much better than at the beginning of his journey. So the two questions are, and you kind of answered one, that's hard. Is that practical? And number two, what's going to happen when he starts eating food again?
He won't want to eat. He's going to want to eat very slowly and very small amounts and very easy to digest foods, soups, stews, yogurt, things that are already pre-digested essentially. But, that's not, obviously he survived. It's hard to do though, because we don't only eat physiologically. As it turns out, from a physiologic perspective, after you don't eat for a day, you kind of don't want to eat. 2 days, certainly you don't want to eat. Did you ever fast? AJ, you fasted, I'm sure.
I fasted, yeah.
Yeah. So you know how you kind of have a little resistance to eating even after 1 day? Like it's hard to push through. It's not like it's not like, oh my God, I'm going to eat a whole bunch of food now. You got to be a little bit careful.
Yeah. After a 3-day fast,
after 3 days, you don't want to eat. You have to almost push yourself to eat. Once you do it, it's funny. Once you do eat, though, it's all over.
Once
you open the floodgates, exactly. Once you do eat, right? It all takes is a couple of bites, and you're back on the train, man.
So you think this guy's gonna go back on the train?
I don't know about 40 days or how long did you say? 70 days?
75 days. 75
Yeah, I don't know about that. I've never heard of that, so I can't really. He should tell us. He could give us information.
All right. Okay, so another question's coming in. Would Cell Shield RTQ and its liver detox factors be beneficial for those with Alzheimer's or dementia?
Oh yeah, heck yeah! Not just for the liver, but it's a powerful antioxidant. Remember, these nutrients are not specific for any one organ; they work biochemically. So anywhere where there's biochemistry, you're going to have a benefit, and obviously that's the whole body, biochemistry in the whole body. So the entire body benefits. Quercetin protects cells. Quercetin is on the COVID list, a COVID nutrient list. Resveratrol is very important for lots of things, the brain and the liver, the nervous system and the liver. It's a very powerful antioxidant. And then turmeric is unbelievable. In fact, that thread I sent you about Alzheimer's disease talks about curcumin for Alzheimer's disease. So yeah, it's an incredibly, incredibly valuable nutrient. And yes, it will help the liver, but it will also help anywhere where there's oxidative stress, the liver, the skin, the brain, the nervous system in general. Those are fast moving systems and they undergo a lot of oxidative stress.
All right, folks. So all the things that you heard us discuss tonight, you can find, and thank you, Wyoming Annie, our very good friend who keeps me on my toes. She'll send us a text or email and say, "You screwed up, AJ. Get it together." Or just like this one, she says, "Fantastic."
Who is this? Who is this?
Wyoming Annie. You remember her?
I do remember Wyoming Annie. Hi, Wyoming Annie.
Yeah, so I appreciate you. Do you have any parting words? And by the way, if you want to know more about what we talked about, please email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com, or you can speak to a certified holistic health coach at the number on the screen. Any parting words?
Yes, parting words. 2 parting words. Number one, parting word number one, or parting words number one. Come to my event Saturday, 11640 Teller Street in Broomfield, 80020. And then 11:30 to about 2:30, we're going to give away lots of free product, and we're going to talk about how to use the product and how to sell the product, how to use it if you're a consumer, how to sell it if you're a distributor, or if you want to learn how to be a distributor, you can learn that as well. Myself and Tom Chenault and probably a few other people are going to speak.
Well, fantastic, and
the second thing is I want to shout out to Senator Siplin. I don't know if he's on the call. He sent me a text, and I got to respond to him. So I'm going to call you right now, Senator Siplin. And it was great to meet you a couple weeks ago in Orlando.
Wow, he's got your number now. AJ is officially out of the loop. All right.
He went direct. You
gotta love it. Did you ever follow with that guy that you spoke to on the side? You went and made the phone call to his guy.
That's who I have to call. The doctor. Okay. Yeah, I got to call him. He has ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis is when the lateral part of the spine becomes sclerotic, and the end result is you can't move. The classic case was Stephen Hawking. He couldn't move at all. He had ALS. Lou Gehrig, it's called Lou Gehrig's disease.
Lou Gehrig,
Lou Gehrig famously died of it. This is the only problem. I already talked to the doctor. I'll talk to him again. It's not hard. All of these degenerative conditions, all of them, they're generic. Polio, myasthenia gravis, ALS, the differences are insignificant. They're all inflammatory diseases of the neuromuscular system. Just 2 words or 3. Inflammatory neuromuscular. That's all you got to know. Inflammatory neuromuscular. So the inflammatory process is now affecting the neuromuscular system to the point where it doesn't work. Neuromuscular system is how you move your arms, move your throat, move your eyes, move your head, do everything, right? Move. If the neuromuscular system is inflamed, especially at control points along the spine, you're going to have a big problem. And if you don't correct it, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And that's what happens. But the question is what is inducing the inflammation of the neuromuscular system? Is it little elves that shoot arrows at you? Is it angels that sprinkle dust on your head?
Of course it is.
Is it evil spirits? What is it? Obviously, something's getting in to disturb the system. It's not.
It's the pixies, man. Come on, you know
It's the pixies.
Okay, so
So it's simple. I talked to him.
Guy.
I talked to him about it, and listen, it's very strange. It's a strange phenomena. There's a resistance to hearing these things, and
So
I don't know.
Did he not believe you?
No, he believed me. You can't not believe me. It's logical, but nobody says no. There's just a yeah, you know, kind of.
I'll do it.
Yeah, and then they'll call you the next day. What do I do? You know, it's just lack of. It doesn't land. It just doesn't land for some reason. Not some people it does, but in a lot of people it just doesn't land. I don't know why. You tell me why, AJ.
Mm-hmm. What about not lupus, but what about what's the one? So okay, got it.
Sjogren's?
More like the one that not Parkinson's, Becca, the one that Marvin Ropp dealt with so much. And I got MS.
MS. MS is exactly the same as amyotrophic lateral sclerosis in the sense that there's no such thing as MS. It's multiple sclerosis. So by the name, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis is a version of multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is when you're sclerotic everywhere or in multiple places. Multiple sclerosis, right in the name. Are you with me? It's not just
yes.
The words aren't just words, they mean something. Multiple sclerosis. That means you're sclerotic in multiple parts of the body. What is sclerosis? Hardening. What is hardening? Protection. What is protection? Defense. What is defense? Offense. Always. Isn't that ironic in our culture where we're all on edge? Now you got this whole political thing, right? The whole war, blah, 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 the craziness that's going on. It's all about defense. The whole world are in an individual sense, on a political sense, and in a biological sense. It's all defense. We're all in a defensive posture. Sclerosis is the end result of chronic defense. Now, there's also changes in the pH of the blood. There's also nutritional deficiencies. There's a bunch of things that are involved. But at the end of the day, the body's protecting itself. It's inflammation. Inflammation is defense. So amyotrophic lateral sclerosis is a type of sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is sclerosis everywhere. Atherosclerosis is sclerosis of the blood vessels, of the arteries. Sclerosis can happen anywhere. You have sclerosis of the eye. It's a common biochemical defense response. The only question asked is, where's the offending agent? So you tell me, where does the offending agent come from?
Something got into the blood. What about the dystrophies?
Dystrophies are growth. It's basically the same thing. Instead of hardening, you have a trophy means grow. It is Latin for growing. Dystrophy is the tissue's not growing correctly. It's dystrophic. Muscular dystrophy is dystrophy of the muscle. But you have dystrophies anywhere. Dystrophies are very common biochemical phenomena. Muscular, and there's many different types of muscular dystrophy. These are catch-all phrases that cover any type of muscular dysfunction. The muscle cells don't grow. It's all generic and basic, and it's not complicated. Are you following me?
It's not complicated for a guy who's got a dystrophied brain that just grew like yours.
No, it's not. Did I say something hard to Did I say something hard to understand?
No, you didn't. You made it very understandable, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Because it is. Because it is. We are bamboozled. Obfuscation has been the tool of tyrants for centuries, where they obfuscate. Even the church used to obfuscate. They make it complicated and hard. So you say, oh, fix me. I can't do it. It's too much. I'm here to change that. Longevity's here to change that. Dr. Wallach is here to change that. Rebecca and AJ and Ruth Ellen and Keeley and all of us here, we're here to change that, to make it accessible so we can get our power back. Doesn't that sound good? We can be our own authorities.
That's the mission.
That's the mission.
That is why I was up at 3 a.m. yesterday, traveling to Philly to get that message.
3 a.m. What did you take? Amtrak.
New Jersey Transit. New Jersey Transit.
They go to Pennsylvania.
And Becca and Ruth Ellen picked me up.
Oh, they picked you up where? Trenton.
Trenton, and they picked up Hattie, and then when we went and
did the event. You were in Hattie's in Trenton?
No, Hattie's in Philly somewhere. We had to go to North Philly, like the section was called Drexel Hill.
I know Drexel Hill. Yeah, thank you. So that's interesting. So you were in Trenton. I hope you didn't. Yeah. I hope you didn't leave the station, did you?
Well, I was looking at property on the drive out.
Don't go out to State Street.
Well,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Well, you're from Newark. That's even worse.
I'm not from Newark.
No, I thought you said no.
I'm from Harlem.
Oh, that's right. That's right. No, why did I think you were from Newark?
I've lived in Newark.
Oh, you lived in Newark.
We've done this show.
We did. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I flew into Newark. Yeah, Newark's not quite as bad anymore. They fixed it up a little bit, but still.
Right. Becca says they put their lives in
danger. Was Becca in Trenton too?
Yeah, well, she picked me up from Trenton. So
no kidding. That's where I grew up, man. That's my hometown.
That is Ben's hometown, and you are the pride of Trenton. So
the pride. That's great.
I'm gonna get you a T-shirt.
Yeah, the pride of Trenton. Somebody made me a T-shirt that said "The dose makes the medicine" last week.
Oh, really?
I'll wear it to the next talk. The dose makes the medicine.
Are you on Friday?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we missed you last week.
All right. We'll see.
Totally glad.
You got me some Barry White or Donna Summer?
No.
Barry White. I want Donna Summer. Donna Summer.
I'll get Donna Summer.
Root the fruit, baby. Root the fruit. Ooh, root the fruit, baby. Root the fruit, baby. Can you do that?
You are a troublemaker. I will see you next time, my friend.
All right. Take care, buddy. Good to see you.
Bye-bye.
So let's talk about a real medical puzzle. It's a heart condition that is way more common than you'd think. It can be deadly, and, well, the official story is that it's an inherited genetic curse. But what if that whole story is wrong? What if the answer isn't in our DNA at all? And what if, for decades, the solution has been hiding out in, of all places, a barn?
First things first, let's get a handle on just how big of a deal this is. We're talking about a genuine medical mystery that's affecting hundreds of thousands of people. And a lot of them, they don't even know they have it. 1 in every 500 people. Just let that number sink in for a second. According to the American Heart Association, that's how many folks in the U.S. are walking around with something called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. For a serious heart condition, that number is absolutely staggering. And here's the official line you'll get. It's the most common inherited heart disease in the world. The thinking is, this isn't just bad luck. It's passed down through your family tree. And the really tragic part? It can lead to sudden death, even in young, super healthy athletes who are at the absolute peak of their physical prime. Okay, so what exactly is the mainstream story here? How does the medical establishment explain this condition that's supposedly hardwired right into our family code? The condition itself is pretty straightforward to describe. With HCM, the heart muscle gets abnormally thick. This makes it harder and harder for the heart to do its job of pumping blood, until sometimes it just catastrophically fails. And the cause? Well, because certain gene mutations have been found in people with the condition, the medical world points to one culprit and one culprit only: your genes. The answer, they say, is in your DNA. Period. And you really got to notice the focus here. The whole approach is about management.
It's about standardizing care, trying to control symptoms, and screening other family members. The entire system is built on this idea that it's a genetic legacy you just have to live with, not something you could ever actually fix or, cure. And this is where things take a really sharp turn. What if this entire inherited disease model is just a massive, tragic misunderstanding? What if the medical world has completely missed the most important clue? A clue that, believe it or not, another industry figured out and solved decades ago.
Yeah, you heard that right. Our hunt for answers takes us to a very, very unexpected place: the farm. Because for ages, the livestock industry has been dealing with a condition in their animals that is shockingly similar and just as fatal. Just look at this comparison. On the left, you have this complex, supposedly genetic human disease. On the right, you've got something farmers call white muscle disease in young livestock. Both involve the breakdown of heart muscle, and both can cause sudden, out-of-the-blue death. I mean, the parallels are just uncanny. So what in the world connects a human heart condition with the disease in lambs and calves? Well, the answer isn't in genetics at all. It's in the dirt. I mean, look at this. It's practically a mirror image. The heart muscle damage, the risk of sudden death, the breathing problems, it's all there. But now, look at that last row, the known cause. For humans, it's a genetic mystery. For livestock, it's a solved problem, a simple nutritional deficiency. See, for farmers, this isn't a mystery at all. They have known for generations that white muscle disease is just caused by a lack of a trace mineral called selenium in the soil and the feed. And more importantly, they know exactly how to prevent it and even treat it with simple supplements. The answer hasn't been a puzzle. It's been standard operating procedure in veterinary medicine for generations. So, this is where it gets really mind-blowing. What happens when you take this knowledge from veterinary science and apply it to humans? Well, according to researcher Dr. Joel Wallach, the results are nothing short of revolutionary. Dr. Wallach points to some incredible, powerful evidence. First, there's a condition in China called Keshan disease, which he says is just another name for HCM. It was rampant in children until the government mandated selenium supplements, and then it basically disappeared. Then he connects selenium deficiency to SIDS, pointing out that the rates plummeted after selenium was added to baby formula. And then, the heart-raking case of Reggie Lewis, the Boston Celtics star, who died from this exact condition while being treated by the best heart doctors in the world, and not one of them ever thought to check for a simple mineral deficiency that any veterinarian could have told them about.
So why does it look like it's genetic? This quote offers a brilliant and simple alternative. It's not that families are passing down bad genes. It's that they're sharing the same bad diet, from the same mineral-poor soil year after year, generation after generation. And maybe the most incredible piece of the puzzle is the story of heavyweight champ Evander Holyfield. In 1994, he gets diagnosed with cardiomyopathy. He's forced to retire, career's over. But then, he reportedly starts taking selenium. By 1995, doctors declare his heart is back to normal. He's medically cleared, he gets back in the ring, and he does the impossible. He becomes the heavyweight champion of the world all over again. This isn't just a story about prevention. It suggests this so-called incurable genetic disease might actually be reversible.
So when you put all this evidence together, from the farm to public health in China to elite athletes, it brings us to one last really provocative thought. It's a thought that challenges the entire foundation of how we look at this disease.
And this really is the heart of the matter, isn't it? Is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy some unstoppable genetic destiny that we can only hope to manage? Or is it a tragic, massive nutritional blind spot? A puzzle that veterinary science solved decades ago, while human medicine just keeps looking in all the wrong places? The answer to that question could literally change countless lives.